All right, all right, all right. We're back. Another edition. More pro guys. We got more pro guys today. Love having, especially guys like these on. Guys who just know how to get down, get dirty, work hard, and they've definitely done that in the years in high school and college, and now in pro ball. So today we got Arbert Cipion, ninth round pick, Milwaukee Brewers out of high school, originally committed to Southern New Hampshire, D2 powerhouse, decided to go with the Brewers. And we also have Nilo, the Juice, Rijo, and he actually attended Rowan College at Gloucester County, and he eventually wanted to sign with the Boston Red Sox after he was done with college. So the topic I want to cover today is minor league life. Kind of covered that with some other people, but you guys are just great examples of guys who work hard. You guys are still grinding, and you guys have all the tools. Like luckily, you guys got all the tools, to make it, and to go along with your work ethic. You guys are really going to go far. So that's what I kind of want to talk about. So let's get right into questions. So Arbert, I know a little bit about your story, not the whole thing, but I want you to kind of go into, your work ethic from a young age and how your dad kind of helped you with that, and then how that, just like those fundamental roots at a young age, how's that transitioned to you as a pro baseball player?
100%. Like, my work ethic was handed from my father, from my parents at a young age. I told them, my dad came up to me, asked me like a serious question one day, like at about 10 years old. And he was like, do you really want to do this seriously for your career? And at 10 years old, you're thinking, of course, I want to be a professional baseball player. And I think back at it now, and it's not at all what I thought it was gonna be. It's just you're just like shooting at a star when you're like a little kid like that. But I told him, yeah, 100%, I want to be a professional baseball player. And that was the first day of summer, and my dad woke me up at 5 a.m. the next day and had me in the backyard hitting, doing all the training, running sleds, and doing all that stuff for the whole summer until I got back into school. So, I mean, him beating me up like that, kind of like throughout my whole childhood, making me get into that work ethic and what I really wanted to get out of baseball was probably 100% why I can wake up any day, why I can take that minor league grind and do whatever I could do out in the baseball field. That's 100% due to what my father did to me when I was young. It kind of drilled that into me at a young age.
Right. And with you guys in the minors, I don't know from personal experience, but from what I've heard, there are long days in the weight room practicing games, and it's a constant grind. So, it's good that you kind of had somewhat of, that experience from a young age, waking up early, just getting right after it, running, hitting, throwing, doing whatever you
Yeah,
got to do.
Nilo can definitely attest to that. Minor leagues, like
Yeah.
we shoot to be big leaguers. You don't want to be a minor leaguer. Minor league is tough. You got we hop onto like 14-hour bus rides. Not a great like picking up food or anything like that. If you even get to eat, the showers suck. You're in there with your in a tiny locker room, probably the size of your room now. It's not anything that you hope and dream for. It's just kind of like that big league level that you want.
Right. Wait. So all right. So Nilo, what's your experience now? I'm sure it's similar to what Arbert's doing, but what have you kind of experienced so far?
Like Albert said too, like minor league is pretty, awful life, but I mean it's you still have the gift that you're signed, you have the opportunity to make it to the major league or on one day. But I mean everything started, since, we were little, like he said, like he had his dad. I had other people like great coaches, that taught us discipline, the hard work, always do everything with a purpose. Everything led up into the minor leagues. It's a grind.
Right.
Like nothing changes. People think like, oh, no, you grind when you're in high school, you grind when you're 13, 14, travel ball. But the hard grind, like serious grind is where you make it to the minor leagues. That
Right.
you know that
100%.
is 100% baseball. It's 100% baseball since the minute you begin. You wake up. Like it's the minute you wake up, about, hey, what I gotta do today, what I got. Even the day before, like, once you go to sleep, you still, you go with the mentality that, hey, I gotta do this tomorrow, I gotta grind this out, because the whole day is baseball. You barely have time to do, like either go out, maybe once a month you have a day off, maybe.
Right.
So, long rides, shitty food because you don't have that much time to get something healthy, cook or something.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's a grind.
Right. So you guys are, different cases. Arbert, you were drafted. Nilo, you were signed after you were done playing in college. So, Nilo, tell me like the time period where you were done playing in college up until the day you were signed with the Red Sox. Like what were you doing in that time period, to get yourself ready, and then tell me about the day the Red Sox made you an offer.
Yeah, like you said, so I wasn't. I mean, not. I would say I wasn't fortunate to get drafted, but for me, it was a fortune not to get drafted because that's what made me. You know what I mean? That's what made me push harder.
Right.
It was like, for people who might say, oh, it's a crazy decision that you said that because the money and stuff like that. But I would tell you this, like if I would have get drafted, my head wasn't right at the time. Like I would have probably take a lot of things for granted. So I feel like that's what the best hard decision of my life, hardest decision of my life, because like that's when everything changed for me. My work ethic I had to change it and push harder. Like I was still grinding in college, but I realized that if I didn't get drafted, it was because of a reason. It had a reason. I wasn't as good as I thought I was. I didn't work hard as I thought I was working. You know what I mean? So I had
Yeah.
to go from the college level to that pro mentality. You know what I mean? That's when I'm like, okay, now people start looking at me. Now that's what changed my whole career. Like that's from kind of being like kind of like cut from the team like Michael Jordan did. Like I was saying, that was the cut for me. Like,
Right.
oh, I
Yep.
wasn't good enough. All right, I got you. I'm gonna work harder, and then it paid off.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the case with a lot of guys too. Like a lot of guys think that that they should be where they think they are, and then reality hits, and then that's what separates guys who like kind of fall off and guys like you who eventually do get signed. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, signed, drafted, you got to that goal, and now you got to reach for the next one. So that's awesome, dude. Um, so Arbor, back to
Hey,
you.
like my
Oh yeah, keep going, keep going.
what do you got? Now I was just gonna say, I don't know if you've seen the series Last Dance.
Yeah,
I mean, just the story of Michael Jordan. Like he, like a good example for other people is like people think like the life people own you something. Nobody owns you anything. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You gotta come get it. Like if you see Michael Jordan, he had his high school coach. He got cut from high school. Then he went up to college. You know what I mean? And he still like wasn't like the best player there. You know what I mean? He had
yeah,
to prove himself. Like nobody owe you anything. You know what I mean? Like his whole career, all the way from high school, college, NBA, he knew that. You know what I mean? He wasn't the best, but he made it. He made it. That mean he made it himself.
right.
So that's that's just a good example.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Arbor, back to you. A lot of guys I talk to, who get drafted out of high school, and there's a big decision there between college and the pros, and especially if you're getting a certain amount of money, certain scholarship, like there's a lot of money on the table there. You know what I mean? Because that's still kind of money you're
100%.
saving. So, kind of, what was your final decision process between the Brewers and Southern New Hampshire?
That was, I mean, it's a tough decision just because you're thinking about. I mean, I committed my junior year, so you're in your third year of high school, and then your fourth year of high school, and then you're just dreaming about going to college because that's
Yeah,
what's kind of like right in front of you. I signed. I was excited where I was going to go.
yeah,
My coaches were talking to me almost every day, so it was like, all right, that's my next step. I'm super excited about it. I was getting prepared for that, and then you start talking a little bit more heavily with like the scouts that are kind of recruiting you and talking to you about the draft. and then you start thinking about, okay, now this is legitimately my dream come true. And you're at this point you're talking to a 17, 18-year-old kid, which was me at the time.
Yep.
And it's big, man. I had a full ride to go to Southern New Hampshire, and but I kind of like set myself to a couple standards just before the draft, so like my head would be clear and I'd make a quick and easy decision, because draft day is like, it's like a free for all after that. It's a yes or no, and you got like 5 minutes, maybe even less, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So a couple days before the draft, I was talking to my parents. We spoke to the teams that wanted to draft me. We made it clear that if I got signed past the 10th round, I was gonna go out to college. Like that was my thing. I was it's just not anything after that. I mean, it's complete respect to everybody that gets drafted after that. But I know if I headed out to college, I can get drafted a little bit better than that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And there was no way I was gonna go either, because my mom and dad made me make a promise that in my deal would have to be a full ride to go to college, just in case anything else happened, which
Right.
ended up being the case. So I mean, I got drafted in the ninth round, so that's under the 10th. So I was 100% clear on that, and they were giving me full scholarship money after that. So it was kind of like all right, you gave me that offer, thank you, and 100% I'm in. Like that was it.
Yeah.
Called Southern, and then after that, just called Southern New Hampshire. They kind of told me that they were expecting that, which is kind of cool to hear. He heard the offer and he was like, "Dude, I don't think that's anything that you can let go at that age." And he told me straight up, like that, just good luck, and he'll be there with no matter what. And my parents were backing me, PS2 was backing me,
Yep.
and it was a done deal. I went. That was it.
That's all. So like I love your awareness there. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of guys like, you know, they get the chance to get drafted. They get drafted, and it's like they're on cloud nine. But you don't. It's like especially for guys our age. You know what I mean? Like you don't see like 10 years ahead. You know what I mean? Where like
Yeah, I get you. I get
you
you.
know what I mean? Like you don't make it, you get hurt, and now like you don't really have a college education. Like you don't have certain things, and then you might not have an idea of what you want to do. So I think you having that security, going back to college if you want to do that, that's really awesome.
No, I feel like, I mean, it's just like everything else in life, man. Baseball doesn't last forever. And I mean, everybody wants to be a 20-year-old, 20 seasons in the big leagues. They want all that stuff, but that's not the rest of your life. So
Yeah.
you thinking ahead of that is it's just smarter. And that's why I always like give thanks to like the people that I had here at home, the people that I had outside of my home that were always supporting me, like Tommy, Beth, Beanie, all those guys, Curb, all those people were just always
Yeah.
behind me that whole time, feeding me like good thoughts into the head and keeping my 10 toes down. So when the decision came up, it was easy to yes or no.
Right. All right. So Nilo, shifting back over to you. So you signed with the Red Sox. You've been there for a few years now. In your time with the Red Sox, what is the biggest skill, physically or mentally, that you think that you need to work on, and something that you might have or you might have or not have that other guys have mastered? So what do you think that skill is?
I mean, one skill that I think that one of the skills that I think I have to work on is just, I mean, I think everybody has to be, has to work on. It's just, it's that mentality of, you know, I don't know, of staying consistent. Like,
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
there's gonna be good days, bad days. Just make sure that mentally you stay there. You know what I mean? Like, that the hard work is gonna pay off. You know what I mean? You trust the process. It doesn't matter if you go 0 for 5, 0 for 10. You got to know that there's gonna be a couple of days where you're gonna go 5 for 5 too. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
just the mentality. Staying positive. I think that's the biggest thing, because of it's a long season, early mornings, late nights, extra innings. You know, there's days you're gonna have to hit the gym when you're tired. There's days where you're gonna have to do extra stuff when you're tired. Because your body needs it. Your body's asking for it. So I think that's one of the things that I put on myself that I gotta work on. And one of the things that players have, some players have, but that I want to take away from it. They just I mean, take from them. It's just that like that same thing. That mental toughness that they have, that competitive, nature that they have. That this is stuff like that that I feel like, because the skills, I feel like, I'm pretty good. I have good arm, I run, I
Yeah.
can hit. It just like the hitting part, I have the tools. Like I'm an athlete and stuff like that. It's just about the mentality of trusting the process. That's something I would love to have from a lot of guys that have experienced that.
Right. Arbor, would you kind of agree on that, or like, is there something that you've experienced?
That's 100% because I mean Nilo said it best. Nilo has every single tool to be a big leaguer, and so does everybody else in the minors because that's exactly
Yeah.
what you got drafted for or signed for. You got signed to be a big leaguer, not a great minor league baseball player.
Yeah.
And those are just all based off your intangibles. The only thing that makes us different is what's in our head. Because it's like, Anilo could definitely attest to this. You have to be day by day while thinking completely in the future, which is
Yes.
nuts. Because you have to be thinking about the reps that you're about to get in the next like 2 minutes, and the game that you're about to play the next hour, which will all affect the game that you're going to be playing in God knows how many days, years, months, or whatever in the big leagues. So if your mind's not right, and if you're not able like to picture all those things and handle all that, you're right out of the minors, and that's just the difference between everybody else. I know there's hundreds of thousands of baseball players just like me and Nilo out there, and are probably signed right there too, and they don't make it because of the same reasons. It's just what we can take mentally.
Right. So, last question. This is for both you guys. If I was a young kid, I mean, I am young, but if I was, a kid, like in high school, like even younger in high school, or maybe even like a college kid like me, or maybe even somebody like you guys, like who's like kind of just breaking into the minors, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to get where you are and then even further? Like just what's like one piece of advice that you think that would help them with this process?
Nilo, you want to go first,
Yeah,
or I
Nilo,
got it?
you got it.
Yeah. You could go first.
Uh, I think the best thing. I mean, Nilo's gonna 100% agree to this because we talk a lot. But I feel like the first thing is the staying goal oriented and being humble. I mean, there's there's what I 100% agree that what I have in my hands and like my future is everything is a blessing kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? But there's
Yep.
100 ways that you can make that into a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, I competitively, I'm the best out there, but as a human, just like everybody else is, everyone's at the same level as me. Everybody has the same opportunity, and I treat everybody the same. I feel like you have to be 100% humble and keep your 10 toes down and staying goal oriented. I mean, there's thousands of different distractions out there that that can just make you turn left or right, and then you're outside of that, and then you're outside of that goal. You know what I'm saying? And you can't. It'll be difficult to get back. They always say that the door, as when you're in, the door completely shuts. To get back in, it's almost literally impossible. But when you're there, you have all the opportunity in the world. So
Right.
you wouldn't want to throw that out for any type of distraction that it just isn't necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd say 100% goal oriented. Stay on top of yourself. Stay healthy. Have a crazy work ethic. Grind, because none of your efforts are ever in vain. Like those things always come back to help you out in the future, whether in one way or another, whether it be for to be a big leaguer or in any other direction that you'll be taken through. Just just keep grinding it out. It'll all be worth it, and staying humble.
Right. Nilo, what you got?
Just like he said, like first thing is you gotta realize, who you are. Like know yourself, be yourself. You know what I mean? Like
Self
always be down
awareness.
to earth. Yeah, exactly. Self-awareness. Always be down to earth. Always be down to earth. Have your feet down to earth. That's where that once you have that feeling, because it's I feel like everything starts when you. I don't know. Probably Sid will agree to this. Is you have a feeling that will hit you, and that's when you know you gotta keep following your dreams.
Yeah.
You get a feeling. You get a feeling where it's you can't explain it, but once you get that feeling, I'll you just gotta keep going. Keep following your dreams. Let your work talk. Um, let you work hard. I think work hard, follow your dreams, and always be surround yourself with people that actually want the same thing you want.
Hundred
That's
percent.
that's the main thing. Always have people that give you good advices, You know what I mean. Then just keep following your dreams. That's all I got.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Nilo, I mean, me and Nilo are kind of like the same guy when it comes to this. Being that original and being like that good person is something that people notice right away.
Yeah,
It's what gives you extra reps when you're out there in AZ or in Florida. It's what gets you that word in from a coach to get you up to the next level. Plus, I mean, of course, with what you're doing on the field, but it's things like that, like being that guy in the clubhouse that people can talk to and relate to, people that a person that people want to be around. Baseball is 100% what you do on the field, but then again, nobody wants that guy that's just knocking everybody else down. Go in there with a smile, be happy that you're there, and just and take advantage of that moment. Like wrap your head around it, and just take it as a blessing.
yep.
Gotcha.
Like he said, yeah, personality matters, bro. Like
100%.
it helped me so much. Like, you know what I mean? You're always gonna be friends with coaches, and coaches not gonna treat you as a player. He's gonna treat you more as a friend too. You know what I mean? And that's what you want. Like you want to be a person where they say, man, we need this kid, man. Either he go 0 for 10, 0 for 5, or he go 10 for 10. We need that guy because he's always positive. Like I
Yep.
said, he always confident. He never shows frustration. He never shows, you know, no bad symptoms like how they say like
I
he's
gotcha.
always he's always positive. Make a great influence around others. That's something that I think it helped me. Because no one everyone in the organization, in the minors, majors, they all have talent. That's 100%. Everyone has talent, but there's things that separate talent from guys that work hard, great personality. It's a big difference when you mix that up.
Yep. That was probably the best answer I could have asked for you guys. That was really great. Great insight. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for doing this. I really think anybody who's going to watch this, who has the same interest as you guys, around your same age, or even like kids watching this, I think you guys really gave some great advice there, and I just want to thank you guys for doing this.
No problem, bro. Always anything, whatever you need, man.
Always, brother.
All right. Gonna sign off here and stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, bro.
All right,
Hey,
signing
brother.
off.